Hi everyone, this is Selina. Welcome back to one of my videos. I hope you're well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name's Selina and I release a crochet tutorial every week. And this week I'm bringing to you this beautiful vintage shawl. I absolutely adore it. It's very beginner friendly. As you can see, it features a V shape. So as always, the free pattern can be found on my blog selinaveronique.com, and the link is in the down bar. And as I said, this is a very beginner friendly crochet project. It features a new stitch, a new design. So this is a treble granny square stitch that I really love, and that creates the V of the shawl. And then I added a thick border which I absolutely adore, which is created with rows of V stitches and then a shell stitch edging, which again I really love. So the exact dimensions and details about this shawl are on the free pattern. As always, as I said, it is linked in the down bar. And for this project I used 4 skeins of Red Heart Soft Baby Steps, and this is a medium 4 yarn, which is also called an Aran weight yarn. And it is 100% acrylic, and I used shade 03 Light Pink. And I really love this yarn. As you know, I've used it so many times. It's really nice. I also used a 5mm crochet hook, as well as a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors, and I will be using US terms with British terms in brackets. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you want more feminine crochet content, don't forget to check out my Patreon page. So the link is in the down bar again. And yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to jump into the tutorial. Okay, so to begin this project, you will be making a slip knot. So just go ahead and create a slip knot like this. Pop your hook through and tighten. And now what you are going to be doing is chaining 4. So just go ahead and chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now slip stitch through the first chain that you did. Just go ahead and slip stitch it to create a circle. And this is the circle into which we will be crocheting. So now once you've done that, for row 1 you will be chaining 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this counts as your first treble crochet. So now that you've done that, we are going to be placing a treble crochet into this center. So to do this, you are going to be wrapping your yarn twice around your hook. So just go ahead and wrap your yarn twice around your hook like this, and go directly into the center like so. Pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook. Take your yarn, go through 2 loops, take your yarn and go through 2 loops, and take your yarn and go through 2 loops, and this creates your first treble crochet. Now what you are going to be doing is placing 3 more treble crochets inside this center. So just go ahead and place 3 more treble crochets inside this center. And my last one. There we go. And this creates our first row, which features 5 treble crochets, because obviously the first chain 4 here counts as a treble crochet. So now what we will be doing is row 2. So to begin row 2, chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this counts as our first treble. Turn your work like so, and what we are going to be doing is working in between the these 2 trebles from the previous row. So that's the first treble here on this side, and then the one next to it. So just work in between these 2 trebles and place 2 more trebles inside this space. So just go ahead and place 2 trebles inside this space, like so. And this creates a cluster of 3 trebles. Now skip the 3 trebles here from the previous row, so count 1, 2 and 3 and skip those, and you are going to be working between the last treble here and the one next to that. So in this last space here you are going to be placing 3 treble crochets. So just go ahead and place 3 treble crochets inside this space. So 2 and 3 and this creates row 2. So as you can see, we are going to be placing clusters of 3 trebles over and over. So now for row 3, chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this counts as our first treble crochet. Turn your work, and once again we are going to be working inside this space here, between this first treble here and the next, and place 2 more trebles inside that space. So 1 and 2, and that creates our cluster of 3 trebles, because the first chain 4 counts as a treble. Now skip 2 trebles here and go into this space at the center and place 3 trebles into that. So go ahead and place 3 trebles, 2 and 3. Okay, and to finish off this row we are going to be skipping these 2 stitches here and working in between this stitch and that one at the very end to complete the row. So just go ahead and place 3 trebles into that 1, 2 and 3, and this creates round 3. Now chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that creates your first treble. Turn your work, and you will be working in between this space as always, so between this stitch at the end and the next stitch, and place 2 trebles inside that space, 1 and 2, and that creates 3 trebles. So that creates 3 trebles here. Now go into the next space. So as you can see, we have more and more spaces in between the clusters of 3 trebles. So skip these stitches here and go into this space with 3 trebles. So as you can see, this pattern is slowly taking form, so it's very easy. It's a very easy repetitive pattern. There we go. This is our cluster here. Now skip 3 stitches and go into this space. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and now work into the last space on the far edge as always, and work a cluster of 3 trebles here at the very end as always. So 1, 2, 3, like so. And this is row 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've just completed row 4. I'm just going to show you row 5 and then I'll let you carry on because this is such an easy project. Okay, so now for the next row, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this counts as our first treble crochet. Turn your work, and once again work in between these stitches at the beginning. So place 2 trebles into that space, 3. Now skip these 2 trebles and go in this space here as always, and place 3 trebles, 1, 2, and 3. Now skip this stitch here and go into the center here with 3 trebles. Once again, 1, 2, and 3. Skip these stitches here and go into this space with 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. And now skip these 2 stitches here and place your last 3 trebles in this space at the end. So just go ahead and place 3 trebles there, 2, and 3. Okay, and this is this stitch. So I'm just going to let you carry this on for row after row, so it's really easy. As you can see, just continue with this pattern, chaining 4, turning your work, and then placing 2 trebles here to create a cluster of 3, and then placing a cluster of 3 trebles into each space before placing 3 trebles at the end of this row here, in between these 2 spaces. And I'm just going to let you carry this on until you have 44 rows in total. So I crocheted 44 rows. You might want to do less, you might want to do more. I found it was a nice length before adding the border, and the border does add some width also to this project. So I'm just going to let you carry this on until you reach 44 rows, and then I'll show you how to crochet your border. Okay, so you should have your 44 rows in total, and your shawl should be quite large now, and I'm just going to show you how to create this large border. So the border will be created on both sides of the shawl. So that means on the V side like this. So I'm just going to show you my sample again. So obviously I'm going to show you on my sample. This is the top of your shawl, so you're not going to touch this. You are simply going to go down like this and then up on that side, and our border will be on both these sides. And now what I am going to show you is how to create this border. So briefly, I'm just going to explain what's going to happen. So we are going to be placing one row of single crochets. Obviously, I will be showing you all of this step by step. So we are going to start with one row of single crochets, and then we will be placing 4 rows of V stitches, and then we will be finishing off with a shell stitch edging. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to create your border. So to begin, chain 1, and this counts as a single crochet. And I'm simply going to turn my work like this so that I can work on this edge. And this is the wrong edge, wrong side of the stitches. So that means that there isn't a specific stitch into which we are going to be working. We are going to be placing single crochets as evenly as we possibly can. And for this part, for one side, so for the first side here, so from here to here, I recommend that you place 132 single crochets. So that's the number of single crochets I have, just so that when we create every row of the border, it will come out like it's supposed to. So as I said, this single crochet counts, this chain 1 counts as a single crochet. And now just go ahead and place single crochets all along the edge. So to create your first single crochets, pop your hook directly through the stitch, pull up a loop. You've got 2 loops on your hook, take your yarn and pull through 2 loops, and then go into the next stitch and place another single crochet, and you are going to be placing single crochets all along this edge. And yeah, so you need to count 132, and in the meantime I'll let you carry this on, and then I'll get back to you to show you the rest of the pattern. Okay, so I've placed the right amount of single crochets all along this edge, and now I'm going to, and you should have 132, and I've placed my last single crochet at the bottom here. I'm just going to place another into that very bottom space, just so that then I'll have an equal amount on the other side. And just go ahead and place single crochets all along this side here until you reach the end of this side. So just go ahead and place another 132 single crochets, and then I'll get back to you to show you the rest of the project. Okay, so for row 2, which is the first V stitch row, chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So turn your work so that you can work on this side, and this first chain 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1, and it goes with this first stitch here. So now skip the next stitch here and go into the next stitch here, with 2 double crochets. So to create a double crochet, just wrap your yarn around your hook, go into the stitch, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Take your yarn, pull through 2 loops, and take your yarn and pull through 2 loops. And that's our first double crochet in this stitch. And we are going to be placing another double crochet in this stitch once again. There we go. And this creates a V-stitch. Now skip a stitch and go into the next with another V-stitch, which is 2 double crochets together. So 1 and 2, skip a stitch and go into the next with 2 double crochets. Skip a stitch and go into the next stitch with 2 double crochets together. And this is the pattern. So just carry on the next few V-stitches and I'll get back to you before we reach the top of this project. Okay, so I've almost reached the top of this row. So I'm going to skip 1 stitch here and go into the top stitch here with a V-stitch. And because this is the top of this row, and what I am going to be doing is place another V-stitch directly into this space again. So there will be 4 double crochets together and 2 V-stitches in 1 stitch. Just because this is the top of the project and you don't want it to tighten, if that makes sense. So now just go down the other side like we normally would. So skip a stitch and go into the next with 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, skip a stitch and go into the next with 2 double crochets, skip a stitch and go into the next with 2 double crochets, and skip a stitch and go into the next with 2 double crochets, and just carry this on until you reach the last few stitches and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've almost reached the end of this row and now what I am going to be doing is chaining 1, skipping a stitch and going into the last stitch with a double crochet. So just go ahead and place your double crochet into that last stitch. And that's it. So that's row 1 of the V-stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to show you row 2 of the V-stitch. So chain 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Turn your work, and this counts as your first double crochet and chain 1 space. And now go into the next V-stitch here with a V-stitch, so 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then go into the next V-stitch with a V-stitch, and go into the next V-stitch with a V-stitch, and into the next with a V-stitch, and just carry this on until you reach the top of this this row. Okay, so we've reached the top of this this row, if that makes sense. And so now what we are going to be doing is going directly into the next V-stitch here. And as you can see, there is one V-stitch here at the top, and there is another one here. So there are two V-stitches at the top of the triangle. What we are going to be doing is placing 4 double crochets into each of those V-stitch from the previous row. So just go ahead into that V-stitch from the previous row and place 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and those 4 double crochets count as 2 V-stitches. Okay, and now that you've done that, you are going to be going into the next V-stitch here and placing 4 double crochets once again. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is what we have, 2 V-stitches. Now just go into the next V-stitch and just place a normal V-stitch like you normally would, going down on the other side of the triangle. And I'll meet you back at the bottom of this row. Okay, so we've reached the end of this row. What we are going to be doing is chaining 1 and placing a double crochet into the third chain from the chain 4 from the previous row. Place a double crochet into that. And this is what we have for row 2. Okay, so I'm just going to de-zoom a bit. So for row 3, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, turn your work. And what you are going to be doing is a simple repeat of the row that we've just done. So I'm not going to go through that again completely. Just repeat the row that we've just done. So just go into each V-stitch with a V-stitch. And then once you reach the top of this row, once again, you are going to be placing twice. So in this V-stitch and that V-stitch at the top, 4 double crochets into each of those, like I've just showed you. And then you are just going to go down again and finish off your row. So I'm just going to let you carry that on. And so you need to repeat this row actually twice so that you have 4 rows of V-stitches in total. So repeat row, the second row of the V-stitch once and then again. So finish off this row and then add an extra one following the instructions of the second row of the V-stitch, and then I'll get back to you to show you how to finish off this project. Okay, so this is what I have. As you can see, it's a really beautiful stitch. And now that we have those 4 rows of V-stitches, I'm going to show you the last row, which is the shell stitch row. So to do the shell stitch row, just chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, turn your work, and this counts as your first double crochet, and we are going to be placing 2 more double crochets inside this first stitch here. So just go ahead and place 2 more double crochets inside that stitch, and that creates a half shell stitch because this will be the corner, and so you just want 1/2 of a shell stitch. I'm just going to zoom in. I'm sorry. There we go. Now what we are going to be doing is skipping 2 stitches. So skip this chain 1 from the previous row, which is a stitch, and then skip that stitch 2 and go into the next and place a single crochet into that. Now skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and go into the next with 5 double crochets together in one stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that creates our first shell stitch, our first full shell stitch. Skip 1 stitch, skip 2 stitches, and go into the next with a single crochet. And skip 1 and 2 and go into the next with a shell stitch, which is 5 double crochets together. So just place 5 double crochets into that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 stitches and go into the next with a single crochet. Skip 2 stitches and go into the next with 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and just carry this on until you reach the other side. So when you reach the top, that's not going to change anything. Just carry on this pattern as normal, and then just get to the bottom here, and I'll show you how to finish off this project. Okay, so I've reached the end of this row. As you can see at the bottom, I'm going to skip 1 and 2 stitches and place a half shell stitch into the last stitch here, which is the 3rd chain from the chain 4 from the previous row. So I'm just going to place 3 double crochets into that to finish off this row. And this is what you should have. So you should finish either on a half shell stitch or on a single crochet, so whichever, that's fine. So there we go. So this is our project. I'm just going to de-zoom. Obviously this is just a small sample, but the shawl in itself is absolutely wonderful and beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you enjoyed making it. I know I really did enjoy making it, and I really enjoyed filming this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and see you next week.